This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in Denver, Colorado. We are here with the Color People. Since 1979, they have been color consultant pioneers, providing color design services, not only for every state, but quite honestly across the globe. I am here with the founder. Thank you so much for joining me here today, James. Why don't we begin a little bit here? For over a quarter of a century, you've been providing services out there. You are now basically an authority in your field. Share with me how it is that you got involved in this industry way back then.
I started out doing Victorian houses. I was renovating Victorian houses and started doing colors for them. I found that houses sold better when they had nice colors on them. And I'd heard about the painted ladies movement in San Francisco. And I decided I'd rather be doing colors than doing carpentry.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
You are headquartered here in Denver, Colorado, but quite honestly, you have your work pretty much in every single state in the nation. Recently, even Hawaii. Share with me how you got your work out there across the globe.
Well, we have had a mail order service that we do around the United States where people can do colors for their house through the mail. They send us pictures, they send us a little questionnaire that we fill out. We mark the photographs up, choose the colors, and send it back, kind of a paint-by-number thing.
Wonderful. I imagine that was something that was rather new way back when you first started doing that.
Well, the whole thing was new. I mean, nobody ever heard of a color consultant 30 years ago. I mean, this was kind of made it up as I went along. And you know, now I should have copyrighted the term color consultant because they're everywhere now.
That's wonderful. You were definitely a pioneer there. Let me ask you this. Obviously, ultimately, your goal is to add value to a person's property. And basically, is that what you feel your role is, and is that why folks hire you on?
Oh, exactly. It's about property value. Really, what I do is marketing. And the majority of my work is on commercial stuff. We do multifamily housing, we do single-family housing, we do shopping centers, we do retail, and we do individual homes as well. But the whole idea is marketing. If it looks better, you get one chance to make a first impression, and we try to supply that, you know.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say first impressions are everything, and so you're basically telling me that if we've got a buyer out there, a prospective buyer, considering curb appeal makes a big difference.
Yeah, curb appeal, that's something I got right off the hand. You know, houses that look good, they sold quickly. Houses that didn't, they just stood there. You know, and in the apartment industry, for instance, we'll redo a property and tenancy will go up, rents can go up, and people will stay longer because it's satisfying for them to live there. So it's not just color, it's about personal satisfaction and marketing.
Obviously, this industry is not a static one, ever-changing, ever-evolving. Basically, your experience understanding color trends as they come and go and basically leading that, is that what really separates you from many of the colorists today? Oh,
absolutely, yeah. I have been a member of Color Marketing Group. And Color Marketing Group is the international group that forecasts and tracks color trends. I've been past president, I'm involved with 20 years, so that I can tell people what's going to come, so that your house, your shopping center is going to look up to date through its next painting cycle. Otherwise, what happens is if you paint at the end of a trend, all of a sudden your house looks 10 years old. I mean, nobody likes to say there's trends in housing, but yet there are.
What you're basically saying is you can make some money when you are ahead of the curve, just like any other field. You began with Victorian homes. Does that still remain one of your passions?
Oh yeah, it is, because they're so beautiful. You know, I mean, the design, the balance, the beauty of them is just fantastic. But we do all styles of houses from all eras. And we do new housing, we do new buildings, we do renovations of all styles of buildings. We do this, actually we do this internationally as well. We have work overseas that we've done.
Victorian homes, obviously you begin with, but historic homes in general. I mean, really, I imagine your goal is to make sure you stay true to the personality of that era, and that can be quite challenging for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
Well, absolutely, but I've become a real authority on what was not just what was for Victorian times, but what were colors and what were the looks and what was the idea between housing and the arts and crafts era and the, now this mid-mod revival thing that's going on that's so huge. So I'm conversant in all of those styles of color, and what we do often is we will make the house look and feel historic without it actually being. Victorians, for instance, originally were muddy colors. They were browns and ochres and greens and so forth, and nobody wants that today. They like fresher, warmer, cleaner kind of colors. So we use historic style colors and in a historic manner, but we bring things up to date.
Like you mentioned before, obviously homes are a specialty of yours, but quite honestly, you've done everything and anything. We're talking about architectural color for churches. We're talking about apartment buildings, condos, residential, commercial, you name it, even warehouses.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I did a couple strip clubs years ago. It's the only place I've ever been to use Revlon red and purple on a building,
when someone goes out and does something like an industrial building or even a storage facility, I imagine, like you said, a colorist 30 years ago wouldn't be called for such a job, but nowadays they actually are. How do they benefit from such?
Well, I think people love color. And so if I own a warehouse, I'm proud of it. If my business is in there, I want it to look as good as my business is. In color marketing, we say color sells, and the right color sells better. So even if you have a fairly mundane kind of building, it's reflective of the quality of your work and the quality of your product. And people take pride in that.
Very exciting, very personal for a lot of folks because, like you say, it is a reflection of their home as well as themselves. In business, it really sends a message out to the public as well. Share with me a little bit what happens at the consultation when someone decides to get started.
Well, the first thing I talk about is where do you want to go? What's the purpose of it? If it's your house, how do you want it to feel? What are you not happy with now? What do you want people to feel about it? How does it fit in the neighborhood? And then we look at the building itself and come up with color schemes that are going to accentuate the best features of the building. In a lot of houses, for instance, you'll have 3 garages over here, and you drive up and all you see is 3 garages. So it's our job to kind of mask the 3 garages and make you go to the front door, point out the front door, maybe put a fun color on the front door or something. So we kind of rebalance it, change the whole presentation as much as possible. And we do that in every situation of any kind of building that we do.
Fantastic. Viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. What you're going to see is the website. On the website, you're going to see basically some commercial, residential. You're going to see some great links, as well as they have a blog to keep you apprised of a lot of the trends that they're talking about here. And basically understanding a little bit more about the company here. The biographies will help you understand that he basically was a pioneer back in this, what we'd have to say is a colorist movement back then that has now become really a mainstay. Let me ask you this. Your work has been admired. It's been recognized. But I imagine it's probably even been copied. Do you look at something like that as a compliment or more of a disrespect?
Oh, it's just the way things are. I mean, there's one big home builder here in town who always, 6 months after we do a development, I'll start seeing my colors in their stuff, So it happens all over the place, yeah. But what we pride ourselves in is getting just the right colors so that they blend just right, so that they emphasize each other, so it's not too loud, it's not too soft. So people try to take the idea, but they don't get the color right. Color changes so much at the scale of a building. So you look at this color here, and it's going to look totally different when there's 2,000 square feet of it. So when people try to copy it, they say, oh, here's that color, but then when it comes to life, it doesn't look the same,
When it comes to life, that has to be quite a rush.
Yeah, it's terrific. I just came back from Memphis, and I just saw a property I did last year, and it was the most boring, nasty place, and it looks like $1 million now. It just knocked me out, mostly because I didn't know it was where I was going, and I just drove up to it and was like, holy cow.
Wonderful. You had mentioned you serve on the board there. Obviously, your way of giving back. Do you enjoy sharing your knowledge with your staff as well?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I love, we do talks, have through the years on color and how to do color and historic color, and we do talks to the home building industry, for the multifamily industry, things like that.
For our local viewers here in Denver, why don't you share just maybe a couple buildings they may want to see your work that you think they'd be able to recognize?
Oh, I think everybody's seen probably ones we've done in Wash Park. We did the boathouse, and we did the old bathhouse. We did the Bluebird Theater and the Gothic Theater on Colfax. Right downtown, we just finished the Skyline development building. It's about a 20-story apartment building, and it's making quite a stir downtown.
Wonderful. Last time, viewers, take a look at the bottom of the screen right there. You're going to see his contact information right there. Quite honestly, if you've got a project out there, maybe you've got a Victorian home and a historic home that you want to bring back to life, basically, these are the folks that are going to do this for you. He has many years of experience, and he was a pioneer, like we said, in the colorist movement, something that was really not mainstay but 30 years ago, and now is truly a staple when it comes to complementing, providing affordability, at the same time, value for your property. This is Gary Atencia with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know. This is Gary Atencia with CNTV, and today we're in Westminster, Colorado. We are at the Dojo of Karate. Since 2008, they have been teaching excellence through karate. I am here with the owner, head instructor, Javier. Let me ask you, basically, over 22 years you have invested in this industry.
I have.
You started at a young age, at age 10, in Nashville, Tennessee. Share with me a little about what got you involved in this type of industry.
I was that kid that was watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and kind of got all caught up with it now, and wanted to do all the karate stuff. So my parents got me a gift for karate lessons whenever I turned 10, and that's how I got started and never turned back.
Wonderful. Let me ask you this. Why do you think it is teaching the excellence through karate, teaching discipline, possibly is more important today for our youth than back when you even started?
It's kind of funny. Since I've been teaching for so long, I've been a part of this, I've seen how generations of kids have kind of changed. And the more focus and discipline that some of these kids get, it's kind of amazing how they actually turn out to be better kids at school academically, with their kids with their parents at home, with their grandparents, and just overall socially, they actually start having more confidence. And so I see it more important because of how things have been evolving in basically our today's day and age.
Absolutely. As parents, we put our children in sports to learn competition. How does this differ from, let's say, putting them in football or soccer? What do you think they kind of learn a little bit different here?
It's more about developing their own self-skills, learning how to gain those confidence things that they may not have, or the discipline they may not be getting. In team sports, they're all about the team, all about this. And this is more of an individual thing to shape a child more individually, so they get more personal attention. And that's kind of important, I think, in today's age. Is not that team sports isn't bad, it's just that we approach it a little differently, more in an individualistic kind of standpoint.
Being a third-degree black belt yourself, the characteristics of a black belt is everything of confidence, respect, dedication, courage, perseverance. Are these all the things kind of rolled up in together that they're going to learn here?
Definitely. We actually have something that's called Word of the Week. And so we go over a Word of the Week every week to discuss these words that you just kind of went over. This week is courtesy, for instance. And so these kids are learning basically different things about courtesy, what the importance is. And the previous week was dedication. So everything is always kind of a way of learning these words of the week to help shape them, what we call Black Belt principles.
Interesting. You mentioned before it's more of an individual approach than a team approach. So really you're teaching in these kids is accountability, how to be better citizens and therefore create a better community.
Exactly. And so what happens is that these kids learn that for their actions that they do, good or bad, that they get rewarded for them or not rewarded for them. And so that's why we have, belt promotions in our school. That's why we have, I guess, reviews, if you will, to kind of hold them accountable for practicing and also knowing that if they don't train, they don't get something that they don't deserve. And so it really teaches them how to kind of set goals and move forward.
Wonderful. You were introduced, like you said, at age 10. Therefore, you believe in starting them young. Share with me what they're going to learn as a little ninja here in your program. What do they learn?
Our Little Ninjas program basically is kids between the ages of 4.5 and 6. And really what we try to get in there is just kind of get their fine motor skills going, their focus, their discipline. A lot of at that age, their limbs don't really work the way they think they should work, and so we're trying to get it all together. And so we make it in a fun aspect where they're learning kicks and punches, but it's always fun and games as well too. And so that's kind of how we approach our Little Ninjas classes.
So obviously if they're having fun and enjoying it, they're going to want to continue on. Share with me again what the Junior Kids Karate is and what do you start evolving into there?
That's our 7 to 12-year-old program. And so essentially if a kid came through our Little Ninjas program, they would be pushed into that next program for the 7 to 12-year-olds. And if they start off as a 7 and 12, that's completely fine as well too. But essentially that's more about working more of their coordination skills, their agility skills, their balance, their focus, their discipline, and we're taking it a little bit more to the next level. We're still having fun. It's not that we don't have fun, but we approach it a little bit more seriously. And as they go up the belt ranks, they actually start gaining more skill sets to where they have to start getting better in their techniques.
Not only that, but when you start learning the techniques and you start mastering a few, it's fun anyway because of the fact that it's no longer a great challenge.
Exactly. And so these kids, they like to do this stuff, these things that we teach them, the techniques, because they see the challenges behind it, and whenever they are able to accomplish it, they see the rewards behind it as well too, whether it's a praise from myself or a praise from classmates. They see that there's they're reaching goals as they kind of increase their skill set.
These traits obviously extend out not only into their schoolwork, into their grades, into their family. So therefore, is this a great place to do some family bonding? Do you provide family training as well?
Yeah, definitely. We have kind of a saying, and it's kind of a generic saying in the industry, but for us, it's a family that kicks together, sticks together. And so what happens is that if we have kids and adults, kids and parents doing karate together, not necessarily in the same classes, but together as a goal, then the kids start bonding with their parents more. I have a few families that actually have a father-son or mother-daughter or something along those lines, and they progress together, and there's like a little competition between each other. And not just that, they have great conversations at the dinner table. They practice together at home, and it's just a great way to bond with your family.
Wonderful and great exercise as well. You said mother and daughter. Obviously, karate is not just for men anymore. Women are really getting involved when it comes even to self-discipline. Is that right?
Definitely. As far as just kind of like women getting into our programs, we actually have quite a bit of girls in our karate classes, and eventually they start turning into teenagers. They go into our teens and adult classes, and they do very, very well in that program as well too.
One of the ones that you offer there is what they call child safety. What involves that there?
Those are things that we do twice a year. We have it's completely free and it's open to the public. So we have a child safety program, and it's about an hour and a half, give or take, on just going over how we can keep kids safe by different things such as keeping distance from strangers, not talking to them, running away when they need to, using self-defense if they need to use it, just kind of making them smarter and more educated. After some of the things that happened last year around this time frame, the community in Westminster has been kind of scared, and so this is one of the reasons why we offer this free to the public, is so that they can empower their kids and their family.
Wonderful. Empowering folks is probably one of the reasons that people walk through the doors there. It's probably a varied reasons. You probably get everything from exercise to bonding, self-defense. What about those that want to go on to competition? Are they going to be able to compete out of this dojo here?
Yeah, definitely. Competition is something that I came through. I used to compete whenever I was younger, and I was actually a world champion back in, I think, 2001. And essentially, it's really helped me as far as like my confidence and my ability. And so I take the traits that I've learned with my competition days and I try to apply them to my kids in their competition if they want to take it to the next level. Now, not every kid wants to compete, but the ones that do, we can definitely help them get there too.
I think you can definitely help them because of the fact that obviously it's important to get trained by somebody who's been there.
Yes.
And you've been out there and actually done it before. You understand the needs, what you have to do, the preparation, and a lot of the stress that basically you could help them through.
Yeah, it's really not easy. I unfortunately didn't have all the mentors that my students have now, and so not that I didn't have anyone helping me. Is just the thing is that I was one of the few students in my dojo competing, and not all my senseis were at the competition level that I was trying to achieve. And so what I was capable of doing is taking some of the training that I kind of gained from friends and other people I would talk to, and now I've taken what I've learned from my competition days and applied it to my classes to help our students.
Excellent. Folks, take a look at the bottom of the screen. What you're going to see right there is their website. On the website, you get a clear idea of basically the head instructor, a lot of his history right there. He has quite a few years under his third-degree black belt, if you'd say. And basically, he understands children. He understands what's it be like to be a 10-year-old who is trying to fit into the world, create a better world and community. You're also going to see there great testimonials, not only of parents, but also from the students as well. Obviously, this is a dojo that is much in demand here in Westminster, Colorado. Let me ask you this, Javier. If you've got a parent out there who they're thinking about putting their child in a sport, they've never even considered karate until they've seen this, what would you tell them?
I would actually tell them to kind of think about it a little bit more and see what their kid wants to get out of this or what they want their child to get out of the sport that they're trying to get to. Are they trying to get confidence, discipline, focus? Or are they trying to run around, kicking a ball? And not that soccer is bad or anything like that. It's just that it's more about what are we trying to develop out of this child. And if we're trying to get the focus, the discipline, the confidence, our program is a great program to really start developing kids in those aspects.
We had mentioned before, obviously, this is a great place for families to come together. What about families that basically one side's not into karate? What type of fitness do you provide?
We actually have just a small group fitness or small group personal training program that we offer, and it's small group training, anywhere from 4 to 12, maybe 15 if that, and it's nothing to do with karate. It's actually functional body movement training. We don't have any machines. We believe that you, the human, is the machine, and so they power anything that we use as far as apparatuses that we use in the program.
Excellent. You take a very hands-on approach to your training here. Are you basically the ones you're actually out there doing the training yourself?
I'm the one that does everything. I run the show here, and so when people come to my program, they're not buying karate classes from the Dojo of Karate. They're buying karate classes from the Dojo of Karate instructed by Javier Lozano. And so I teach all of my classes. I think that it's important that my students get the best training possible. And the only way to get the best training is by training with the person that teaches it all. And it's been doing this the longest.
So it's more than just your name on the door?
It's more than just my name on the door. It's more about making sure that my kids are getting everything and my adults are getting everything they deserve.
Wonderful. Not only that, but you offer a 30-day no-risk guarantee. So folks, tell me about that.
It's just my guarantee to my program. I promise my students and my parents that when they come into my program that I'll give them 100% satisfaction guaranteed within those first 30, not that I will never do it again, but so within those first 30 days, if they're not satisfied with my program for any reason, they can cancel. And so that way it allows them to try out our program, and if they like it, then they continue in our program.
Excellent. You had mentioned before that you didn't have the mentoring in place that a lot of your students do now. How does that make you feel, being able to provide that for the youth?
It's awesome. ultimately, my goal is to help my kids grow in any aspect possible, whether it's in competition, whether it's in academics, whether it's at home, whatever the case is. My goal is to help them achieve whatever their goals are, and if they achieve their goals, then I've achieved my goals. And so I kind of put it more personal on my end, because I do all the classes, I teach all the classes, so I'm more involved with my students.
Wonderful. Once again, folks, that is the Dojo of Karate. They are teaching excellence through karate here in Westminster, Colorado. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV. And if you don't know, now you know. Until next time, if you know of a business who you feel the whole city should know about, nominate them, we'll send a reporter out. This is Gary Atencio from CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.